another episode of Finally Game Music, and this is episode 133 on the thematic of Asterix and Obelix for the Super Nintendo. And I am your host, Kristoffer Schenström, and let's enjoy this fabulous game with awesome music. So the question is, who are these cartoon characters? So Asterix and Obelix is a French comic created back in 1959 by René Goscinny and Albert Uderzo. And yeah, they've been going at it for such a long time. They are still going at it today. And when we're looking at this game, Asterix and Obelix, the game was created by the French studio Infogrames Entertainment, or today more known as Atari SA, which however went into bankruptcy back in 2013. But they do have some kind of movement today, as there are still something going on with the Atari kind of brand. And the studio itself, they started back in 1983, the Infogrames Entertainment studio. So looking at the game, Asterix and Obelix, it was released back in 1996 for the Super Nintendo in Europe, but also had a release for PC in Europe and USA. The game was, however, first released in a different version, and this was for the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color back in 1995. The game, it had the same story and all, but the level design was changed dramatically. That version does not, however, offer any two-player mode, which the Super Nintendo version does, and only the Game Boy Color version had the level codes, or the passwords that you can utilize to kind of jump to different specific scenes or locations or levels, so to speak. And we will get into more of those when we talk about the story. But before we're going in to listen to the first song, let's announce the composer for these amazing tracks. And the composer for this game and the Game Boy game is none other than amazing Alberto José González. So the first song out is from the Asterix and Obelix soundtrack. We're going to listen to Story. So this was the Story soundtrack, the song that plays when they are explaining the story within this game. So in Asterix and Obelix, you can choose to either control one of the two gauls or play them as two players simultaneously. Your story here is to show Caesar the power and freedom of your village. You are to collect various trophies from all over Europe, in the Roman-controlled areas. To do this, you can either select Asterix or Obelix and move through various of levels while beating up Roman soldiers. So you can collect coins, you can avoid gaps and other obstacles within this game. Various special levels like crossing the sea to the Great Britain by boat and by beating up some Romans again. Or you can freeing rugby players captured by the Romans that are scattered across the game, and you can provide a variety of different classical run and gun and run and jump kind of levels. Not so much gunning, because you're just going around punching Romans in this game, or Boers. But anywho, so you will go around, and most of these levels will have some kind of time limit to them. So to make a little bit of the game harder, they're adding time pressure. However, from what I've played in this game, I didn't feel that too much stressed looking at these timers. You could easily work your way through the game with this time limit. And through the options menu, you are also able to adjust the game with the difficulty. So there is an easy, medium, and hard setting for this one. I'm a little bit unsure. I myself play this game on normal setting when I since I didn't play this game when I was younger. I just had to play this game now before I did this podcast. But overall, there are 4 different countries that you visit throughout this game, and all of them are based on the comic books of the series, and namely these are Asterix in Britain, Asterix in Switzerland, Asterix in the Olympic Games, and Asterix in Spain. So at the end of every of these stages throughout the chapters, you have to contend in some sort of contest typical to the country, or also take some that takes plot within the comic. So in Britain, you take part in a rugby match, and in Switzerland, you will have to blast your way through some safes, and in Greece, you take part in the Olympic Games, and in Spain, you have to fight against or run from a bull. And victory for these will get you the desired trophies. So the story is kind of simple. You just want to show your freedom and individuality of your village by just going around and wreaking havoc in the Roman Empire, taking anything you would like while you're just moving around there, to just prove a point to Caesar that he cannot boss you around. And yeah, the game is super freaking hard. When I played this at first, I didn't actually notice that you could actually pick between these characters, because the main screen only have 1 player, 2 player, and then an options menu. And I headed right into the game by pressing the 1 player, and instantly got the big character Obelix. And I was getting hit by everything as I moved around in this game, and I almost got to the 3rd level. I actually got stuck on the 2nd stage, which is this crossing against the gap from where they live to England. So it was just super crazy hard, in my opinion. And to be honest, I didn't have that much fun, because the game doesn't offer that much difference when it comes to level design and mechanics that you can utilize to make the game really, really fun. It's still really fun to see the characters and move around and just beating up Romans, but everything kind of wants to kill you in this game, so it's kind of hard getting all these cheap shots all the time. But at the same time, I headed back into the menu at a later time. I watched through some Let's Plays and just got to know the game a little bit before heading into it again. And I noticed that, yeah, you are able to play as the small character Asterix as well, but you need to head into the options menu, and from there switch the characters of who is playing who. And then you're able to play with Asterix. His hitbox is way much smaller, so he's way simpler to play with. And when I got Asterix, I simply completed like 3 or 4 stages instead, and then I died. But it was way funnier to play as Asterix than Obelix due to hitbox detection and so on. And the more you play, the more you get to know the mechanics, and the more you can start utilizing the different kind of things that you are able to use within this game. So I want to show you the next song, or let you guys listen to the next song in this game. The first song that we hear in stage 1. So we're going to listen to The Adventure Begins. So as I stated before going into this song, I wanted to say that this game, yet again, is super hard. But there are at certain levels of this game that you will get a password in which you can use to save your progress for your next session. There are also a debug mode within this game where you will be able to enter a level select screen, but more on that I will spoil at the end of this podcast. But this is where the whole beginning starts. This is the first song that you will hear within this game in the first stage. So you're basically wandering away from your village, and you will basically start your journey here, walking first on the way to the sea, and from there you will go through the Great Passing, all the way to get to London in the end. And this game has sometimes on some of these levels alternative paths you can take. This means that for the first level here, for example, you will have an upper way path you can go or a lower one. And it's always different between which of these could be the better path. So it's more of a learning pattern where you can utilize your skill either to knock as many Romans as possible, or you can go around and take the easier path to kind of just get past them, for example. And when I went on my journey for the first time ever within this game, because I have heard about this game, but I've never played it myself until I tried the ROM, because I don't own this game myself yet. I only own the first game, the Asterix game. So when I headed into this game, I didn't know what to expect or anything. I just felt like, since it is Infogrames who made this game, I'm just expecting it to be as hard as a Smurfs game or Lucky Luke. I haven't played Lucky Luke per se, but I've heard those games are hard as well, but I know Smurfs, and Smurfs are really, really hard. So I'm guessing the game, I don't expect anything less, so to speak. And when I started this game on this first level, I kind of learned quickly what I was getting myself into, because the hitboxes are quite big when you play Obelix, and when you're moving around, you're easy to hit, you're easy to get hit, and all you can really do is two different types of attacks. You can do the normal, like, jab attack, or you can hold in the attack button to kind of charge up an attack, but the attack is charged up when his sprite is basically twitched around into a wide swing, and when you're letting go at that point, you will basically instant kill every enemy within this game that I know of, at least in the beginning of this game. And looking through the different kind of gameplay footage and so on, it looks like that's the going theme throughout the game. Sometimes you will meet lieutenants and such, and those guys might be able to take another punch, so to speak. But it's super... I'm getting a little bit frustrated just thinking about it, because when all it came down to is always these cheap, really cheap death that you get, because every unit in this game, everything that moves around within this game is most likely able to damage you in some way. So in the first area you have Roman soldiers, and you also have boars that running around, and you can kick their asses if you want that, but other than that they will most definitely just poke you out more over and over again for some HP, and sometimes you can get these meat pieces that brings out the HP for your character. But yeah, these are very sparse, and when you go from one level to the other, you're keeping that health, and in the beginning you have 4 extra lives. So you have 3 pointed out, but you also have the 0 as a possible life as well. So it's not game over until you run out of all of the lives, like the standard type of platforming game. So yeah, looking at this, just thinking about it almost makes me a little bit frustrated, because I did enjoy the music, I did enjoy it to some extent. It's very repetitive, there's not much going on, you're still basically walking from left to right within all the levels. And you try not to get knocked out and try to predict everything, but it is like playing a slow-paced Sonic game, because the characters are quite big, it's not easy to react everything that comes from the right side, so everything kind of goes against you in the first playthroughs. And just looking at how many levels this game also has makes it a little bit more frustrating as well. Because this game is not a small game. Even looking at people like speedrunning this or making like task speedruns and stuff like that, it's still like 30 minutes of total gameplay with people just running. Looking at people sharing their footage when they are not dying a lot, like I do, they still have like 1 hour of footage where you basically are just playing the game. So it's insane how big this game is, and I do remember somebody recommending this soundtrack. So basically I went into this game mostly enjoying the music, not enjoying the game itself, but most definitely just looking at it. I don't think this will ever be a game that I complete myself, but I have tried it. It was not to my liking because of all these cheap shots all the time. But I do hope everybody can react and enjoy one thing, and that is the music. So let's listen to 2 tracks. We're going to listen to a track that happens later end of the game. So we're going to listen to Pirates, and we're going to blend in the bonus stage, which also happens at some certain points. So let's enjoy these tunes. And there we had the little mix that I made on the flyer. It was the track from the pirate stage, but also the bonus stage theme here. So yeah, I really did enjoy. I gotta say, listening through this whole soundtrack, Pirates is the one that I find the most interesting and that I like the most as well. It's really upbeat. I really did enjoy it. It reminded me for some reason a lot to Monkey Island for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if you guys agree or not either. But damn, it really gave me these really nice tropical vibes, and I really did enjoy this. And during this pirate stage, you're basically climbing around different kinds of ships and going from left to right as always. So you're climbing the mast, you're trying to avoid people throwing shit at you, and yeah, swashbuckling pirates. You have, it kind of looks like gauls as well, just like Asterix and Obelix. They kind of hit you with a stick, and yeah, a lot of screaming and shouting that goes on, just like pirates do, you know. But yeah, this is somewhere like against towards the ending of this game, and damn, all the way to this point, it's been hard. And just looking at all the random things that drops onto you and you try to avoid and so on, even looking at Taz, I'm getting stressed out. Taz is basically a program robot that knows the game in and out, and people are using Taz as some sort of speedrunning tool when they do. But looking at speedrunning when it comes to this part, it's all about maximizing and minimizing paths and everything to kind of get the shortest time as possible and having everything run to perfection. So I'm wondering sometimes if people are speedrunners are specifically looking at tasks sometimes to see are there any time estimations or time difference that we can optimize, so to speak, and try to copy them as much as possible, because there are some crazy shit going on when you're looking at these type of playthroughs, because damn, the games are just super buggy at some points, which is crazy. But yeah, I really did enjoy these tunes. So in the beginning of my picks, I wanted to have the story pick because it kind of explains the story with the tune itself. It's kind of hard, kind of melancholic to some point, I would say, but I really like the depth within that song. And then we had The Adventure Begins. It's kind of happy, it's kind of exciting for some at some point within the music. It's kind of upbeat and happy, so to speak. So you're kind of happy going onto this journey. And then we go into the Pirates, where we're happy again, having these sweet little tunes, but the stages are freaking horrible when I'm looking at them. I never gotten this far. I never even gotten to play the rugby game, which is earlier in this game. The Pirates are actually coming when you're visiting almost the end of the game, which is Greece. After Greece, you will have Spain as well, but Greece is the 75% rating of the game, at least. And these bonus stages are basically stages that you get if you collect everything on these levels, and then you're getting to an extra bonus stage, which is basically just a simple stage where you have a lot of things that you can collect on. So it's easy to kind of get to these bonus stages, but for me, I never got into one because I didn't really care that much to collect everything on a stage, because it never felt like I needed them to some extent or something like that. You do have a score that counts up when you complete the stage. They're rolling in everything you collected. Not everything you beaten, it's just everything you collected. So you collected coins, you collected stars, and then you have the time. And those are the estimations that kind of give you, in the end, a good score. And I never really felt that I wanted to collect everything. I really never cared, because didn't feel like I was getting anything until I actually got to the end of the stage. And when it comes to this game, I would never get the feeling or urge to play this game again. Looking at gameplay, as I said before, they're about 1 hour long in straight running and going around and collecting everything, not doing all the bonus stages. It's just 1 hour of playing this game specifically. As I said before, this game is going against you all the time, so I'm really super impressed by people playing this game and are really, really good at that. They have amazing memory to kind of remember and get reminded of where every enemy is, basically, and what to do when they show up on the screen. And I'm a little bit unsure if enemies were respawning to some extent, just like Mario, when they go out of the screen and you head back to the position, they kind of respawn, because I never did go back and forth, but you are able to go back and forth within the screen, so if you're missing something, you can just head left and go and collect it. So there's no worries in that part, so to speak. So yeah, I don't know much else that I can ramble on when it comes to this soundtrack, so I think it's time to kind of end it all here with the last song of the week before we kind of spoil the little extra sheet that you can have for mission select. So let's enjoy the ending staff roll from Asterix and Obelix. Ending staff role from Asterix and Obelix. So yeah, this is the last track of this week, and I really find this one mellow. So we kind of started out with the beginning, the story, we headed into the adventures of the game, we even got to the bonus stages, and this is the ending. I really find it mellow. I really did enjoy it. I really like the kind of bongo drums going on within this track. I was just kind of just enjoying it. It didn't feel that thematic to the game itself. When I'm thinking about the Gauls, for some reason I'm thinking more Irish, and it didn't get me really Irish, because Irish people and Irish music kind of feel more upbeat and almost like tavern music to my ears, at least. And usually the most Irish thing I kind of have in mind all the time when I'm thinking about Irish music is for some reason Riverdance music, and I just love that shit, so it's crazy, and that's not what fits that good into this game, because that would be just crazy. But I kind of just enjoy this, because when you've completed this game, you get just one screen, and then lots of credits going on for some story of what's happening, and then all the names of the people who worked on the game. And during this part, you have this classic where Asterix and Obelix and the whole village are having a feast at the end of the night, and you have this singer hanging in the tree with his harp, because nobody likes him because he sings really badly, and it's crazy. And I really do enjoy it, because it brings a lot of memories. When I grew up, I actually watched a whole lot of Asterix and Obelix. I really did enjoy the cartoon really much. I have never, not that I know of at least, I've never actually read any of the comic books or the series books, but I have enjoyed the movies, the live action movies, and the series, and the movies with the cartoon and everything, a whole lot. And I really do enjoy still continuing to watch Asterix and Obelix movies that are released in modern times now. The last one I watched was like, if it's The House of the Gods or something like that. I don't remember, because I do believe that it had the Swedish title on, and I do believe it was something like that. But basically the Romans are coming and trying to push the Gauls out by starting to build a whole lot of apartments and stuff like that close to the Gauls. And it's super amazing and super hilarious, and I really do enjoy it. It's always easy to take in Asterix and Obelix and just have a good laugh, and I really do enjoy that. Nothing that kind of conveys throughout the game, however, in my opinion, because it's super hard, as I said over and over again. It is super hard. The mini games are a little bit fun, but it doesn't really convey a good humorous touch to it, which kind of defines Asterix and Obelix for me. The most comedic kind of thing you have in this one is when you're basically hitting the Romans, and you're hitting them so hard, just like the comic, you will see them start flying away, and all that's left is some sandals and their helmet. So that's like the funny part of the game, and there's nothing else to it, not that much at least. So it's just a really hard game that you can kind of put on your hardcore list, I would say, when it comes to this game. So if you have this game completed onto your list, congrats to you. You're absolutely amazing. That's super impressive in my opinion. But for those guys who are like me, who aren't that impressive in this game, there is a little hint. As I told you before, we're going to check out the debug menu. So when you're starting up this game, you will first get like one screen that shows off for the game, and then you will get the Infogrames logo. And at this point in time, when you see this logo, you're going to press left, you're going to press the shoulder right key, and then you're pressing right, and then the left key, the left corner, and then it's X and A, and then you will hear a little sound effect, because it will kind of convey that you pressed the correct settings. And enabling this thing, these debug features will enable two different level select features. First of all, you will be able to select any level through the options menu. And you can also select your desired starting level and then go back to the menu to just proceed with the game if you want to. Secondly, you also get another feature that by pressing the left and right shoulder buttons in-game, you will instantly complete the current level without any warning and then just continue to the next one. So for those who are too bad to reach the different kind of password kind of sections, so like me, I never got a single password while playing this one. Maybe I will try this one out, because when I do get this, I will most definitely play it at some point in time to see how I am and what do I actually think of the game at that point in time as well. I didn't get a super good experience with it right now, but it's also, I played it on my computer, on my keyboard, through an emulator, so it is not the best kind of experience, I can definitely tell you that. But other than that, I hope you really enjoyed the music for this week. I sure did myself. It was super fun to go through the whole album or the whole soundtrack on this game, because it's insanely how much music you have in this game, and just thinking about how many megabytes you have on the Super Nintendo cartridge for everything within a game. I'm actually really amazed to have these many tracks within this game. There are melodious and super fun and super nice to hear. So I really do enjoy this soundtrack myself, and I hope you did too. So other things than that, we're closing this up now. So other episodes of Finally Game Music, you'll find them on our homepage, videospelsklubben.se. You can find it on Spotify or in your closest podcast app. Feel free to follow and give comments on any of our social medias, that is either Facebook or on Instagram. And you can get there just by searching Finally Game Music. I've switched everything out now, so it's way easier for our international listeners to kind of support and show support towards this podcast. So thank you so much for commenting and following. And if you're interested in hearing your name within one of these episodes, you can either request a song for an upcoming episode by commenting on any of our social media pages or through the Videospelsklubben's Discord. You can also support this podcast and future content and quality updates that I really want to do, and this will kind of speed up the process. But you can also support future composers by becoming one of the Patreons on the Patreon page for this podcast. So at first, I'm going to try and get a mixer board. I'm going to get more equipment for microphones and such, so I can actually go around and travel and talk to composers eye to eye. And also a laptop would be needed, so I can record everything on my laptop, you know. But other than that, when I have everything I want, I'm actually just going to utilize and use all the money I get in to pay for music for this podcast, because every music you hear that I'm able to buy, I'm definitely buying. But sometimes soundtracks aren't just that easy to convey or come by, so at that point I need to kind of go ahead and try to get them in the best way possible. But yeah, and when everything goes over that, when it comes to money, everything will basically go back to composers, and especially new composers within the field of making video game music, because when we're getting a hefty sum that we want to convey or give away, then we're taking everything out and we're basically giving it away to that specific composer, somebody who has either recently started or haven't pushed through that barrier yet. So we want to support new composers that are coming into this amazing kind of area of game development. The guys who you usually hear about all the time. Well, not hear about them specifically, but you're hearing what they've been working on for months in the games that you all love. And it's sometimes we don't even hear about them, that convey all these feelings that we feel towards games. And this is my way, at least, and the podcast way, to kind of bring them forth and have fun with it. So yeah, and for those who are backers, your name will always be read here at the end. So the current awesome backers that we have today, it's Mikael Sjöberg, Andreas Nilsson, and Daniel Onmark. Thank you so freaking much that you support our content and support this podcast. And then, since this game is so old and it is just Super Nintendo, there are no links for me to kind of show where you can buy the game soundtrack. But feel free to to kind of support Alberto Jose Gonzalez, follow him on social medias and such. Also kind of look into what he's working on, because he's super active on Twitter, for example, so enjoy that one. So the next theme, then, next week, we're going to talk about JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games. And I know a lot of you guys out there do enjoy these, so I am expecting you guys to bring me the music, because I'm not well versed when it comes to JRPGs. There are some that I really do enjoy, that I really like, especially from my childhood, but also in the modern times. But I know plenty of you who are listening to this podcast are way more enthusiastic about this thematic than I am. So I'm looking forward to hear more music from you guys. And I'll try to actually step back a little bit, because I want to get to know you more. So feel free to write a comment what you think about the game and which song we're going to listen to, and I will take it up in the next week's podcast. So everybody, have a nice week now, and do take care, everybody. And see you all guys next time.